For most of the 20th century, biology operated on a relatively straightforward premise. Your DNA sequence, the genetic code inherited from your parents, determined your traits and your health. Epigenetics has fundamentally complicated this picture. Epigenetics studies heritable changes in gene expression that do not involve changes to the underlying DNA sequence itself. Think of your DNA as a script. Epigenetic modifications are like stage directions, layered on top of that script. They determine which genes are performed at what volume and when. Chemical tags, most notably methyl groups, can attach to specific regions of DNA, effectively silencing certain genes. These patterns can be influenced by environmental factors, including diet, stress, exposure to toxins, and even social experiences. What makes epigenetics truly extraordinary is evidence that some of these patterns can be transmitted across generations. Studies of populations exposed to famine conditions, including Swedish harvest records and survivors of the Dutch hunger winter of 1944, suggest that nutritional stress experienced by a grandparent can influence the health outcomes of grandchildren, even if the grandchildren never experienced food scarcity themselves. This challenges the long-held idea that only our DNA sequence passes from generation to generation.
Before we move on, here's one way you can support the channel. You can contribute a small amount to help the channel keep going. Just hit the thanks button below the video or check the three-dot menu if you don't see it. Thank you so much for watching.
In educational psychology, cognitive load theory, developed by John Sweller in the 1980s, provides a framework for understanding how instructional design affects learning efficiency. The theory is grounded in the architecture of human memory. Our working memory, the part of the mind that processes information actively, is severely limited in capacity. It can hold and manipulate roughly 4 to 7 distinct pieces of information at one time. When instructional material overwhelms working memory, learning breaks down. This is called cognitive overload. Sweller identified 3 types of load. Intrinsic load refers to the inherent complexity of the material itself. Calculus is intrinsically more complex than basic arithmetic. Extraneous load comes from poor instructional design, confusing diagrams, irrelevant information, or split attention between text and images in different locations. Germane load is the beneficial kind, the mental effort used to actually form new memories and integrate new knowledge with existing schemas. Good teaching, according to cognitive load theory, minimizes extraneous load, so more working memory capacity is available for germane load. This is why well-designed educational materials integrate text and visuals together rather than placing them on separate pages, and why breaking complex procedures into smaller sequential steps consistently improves learning outcomes.
Coral reefs represent one of the most biodiverse ecosystems on Earth, covering less than 1% of the ocean floor, yet supporting roughly a quarter of all marine species. Today, these ecosystems face an existential threat from a process called coral bleaching. Corals are not simply rock-like structures. They are living animals that host microscopic algae called zooxanthellae within their tissues. This relationship is symbiotic. The algae perform photosynthesis and provide the coral with up to 90% of its energy needs, while the coral provides the algae with shelter and the nutrients they need to thrive. Coral's characteristic colours come from these algae. When ocean temperatures rise even slightly, by as little as 1 to 2 degrees Celsius above seasonal norms for a sustained period, corals expel their zooxanthellae. Without the algae, the coral turns white. This is bleaching. A bleached coral is not dead, but it is severely stressed and highly vulnerable. If temperatures return to normal quickly, the coral can recover. If the stress persists for weeks or months, the coral starves and dies. Mass bleaching events, once rare, have become significantly more frequent as ocean temperatures rise due to climate change. The Great Barrier Reef experienced 4 mass bleaching events between 2016 and 2022.
One of the most well-documented cognitive biases is the availability heuristic, a mental shortcut by which people estimate the probability or frequency of an event based on how easily examples of it come to mind. In other words, we judge how likely by how easy to imagine. This heuristic functions as a useful and generally reliable guide. If you have witnessed many car accidents at a particular intersection, your intuition that it is dangerous is probably correct. The problem arises when the ease of recalling examples is influenced by factors unrelated to actual frequency. Media coverage is perhaps the most powerful distorter. Airplane crashes receive massive, sustained news coverage, far more than the millions of safe flights that occur each year. As a result, many people systematically overestimate the risk of flying while underestimating the genuinely higher statistical danger of car travel. Similarly, dramatic crimes like murder tend to dominate headlines, leading people in many developed nations to significantly overestimate violent crime rates, even as those rates decline. The practical implication is significant for policy and health communication. If people's risk assessments are driven primarily by media salience rather than statistical reality, public resources may be directed toward visible but low probability threats while more common, less dramatic dangers receive insufficient attention.
For most of the 20th century, biology operated on a relatively straightforward premise. Your DNA sequence, the genetic code inherited from your parents, determined your traits and your health. Epigenetics has fundamentally complicated this picture. Epigenetics studies heritable changes in gene expression that do not involve changes to the underlying